Hello, everyone, and welcome to this new edition of Message of Hope. And today, directly from Argentina, we have the pleasure to have Azul Leguizamon. Oh, sorry, Leguizamon. I will find it.
It's okay. It's perfect. Thank you, Martin. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for agreeing to do this. Azul is also a transformational coach in the 3P understanding. She's also translating all the teachings also in Spanish. So welcome, Azul.
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for this wonderful space you have created.
Oh, thank you. And I will ask the infamous question, which is, how having this understanding, how does that help you with different events, different circumstances that can show up in your life?
Well, having this understanding gave me the ultimate freedom, because in the past I felt and I believed that I was a victim of my circumstances. Like outside things have to be in a certain way so I can be happy or survive. And I didn't have space to create the life that I wanted. I grew up in a family, a very dysfunctional family, where there was a huge amount of violence and abuse and psychological abuse. So my mindset was all about surviving. And once I survived, it was like just, looking at each day and finding out if the outside circumstances were good or not to define the way I was showing up. Now, once I started to know about this understanding, and not knowing, because intellectually it's very easy, you can read a book and that's it. But when I started to have experiences of really being connected with my true nature, understanding how my mind works and seeing my mind in action, one way I like to use to define it is like, it's like having my own Netflix. I have my own movies, thinking shows up about whatever, and there is a movie, and if I believe that the movie is me, if I believe that that's real, that's the reality, then I have very few options to deal with that. Now, when I have the experience of seeing my thinking in action and understanding that that's not me, allows me freedom to act in different ways. Like before this understanding, in order to take a decision, I was analyzing the outside pros and what's on favor, what could be the best decision ever, and I would analyze it and talk it with people, and find out ways and Google about it. And now I know for sure that I just need to be in a space of clarity inside of me that is always there. I'm always connected with my inner guidance. I'm always connected with wisdom, and we can call it wisdom, we can call it God, we can call it infinite intelligence that sustains life. We are always connected, but sometimes I have so much noise in my head. Actually, it's not that I have so much noise, it's that I pay so much attention to my thinking that I create like a big noise, and then I don't receive guidance. And when I started experiencing removing my attention from that noise and letting my mind to be quiet, to settle down, then whatever I need to do next is shown up like very clear, like common sense. And always in those moments, I'm like, how can I didn't see it before? Of course, because I was, as Mavis says, I was buying in the wrong store. I was looking for solutions in my personal mind instead of trusting in my inner guidance. And also one more thing that I want to add to that is that in the past, when I started into this understanding, I thought, okay, I have to do nothing, I have to just be quiet and like let my mind settle down and do nothing. And now I'm seeing that, yeah, that's step one. And from that quiet space, some inspiration shows up. Someone to connect, someone to call, something to do. Things happen. I have a body, I'm a human being, and I'm living a human experience. And of course, every action, every step works a million times better when we are coming from that space than when we are trying things to happen, to make it happen. So for me, it's huge. I had several insights, but I had a strong belief that I wasn't enough for anything. As a woman, as a mother, as a coach, as a teacher. I'm also a primary school teacher. That was told to me in my family. Like I could name you like 100 reasons why that was so alive and real. And when I started to see, oh, that's like a story I tell myself, like, oh, you're not enough, you're like this, that, and that. And I saw that it's a habit, it's just a story I tell myself often. And the moment I realized it's a story, then I realized, oh, so it has nothing to do with reality. And second of all, when I started paying less attention to this, the story can keep showing up, but the less attention I paid to the story, it started to show up less and less and less. And I found myself doing things that I would have never imagined before. Like really expressing who I am and creating the life I want and dealing with challenges in a completely different way. Because life happens, but the way we deal with things that happen create different experiences. So for me, it's absolutely everything. It was like before and after that. That's why I look for a way of sharing this with more people, because for me, the key is freedom. Like knowing the rules of the game allows you to play it and enjoying the game.
Yes.
So that's what is it about for me.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
To go from, I like my little thing. Now let's go from this and to clarity. Ta-da! No, so yeah,
absolutely.
And I just for the people, when you say I don't have to do, I just can look at things, and then from that something occurs. But I don't want people to think that there's a technique to quieting down.
No, there's no technique. Absolutely. That's a misconception I had at the beginning too. Like, okay, how to quiet my mind? What should I do? Should I like... The way I'm seeing it now is that, let's say that I'm going to give a very simple example. I was working in a book that I'm translating, and I have to use a certain software, and I was trying to make it work, and I was a little busy in my mind, and it didn't work, and once and again, and I pressed several buttons and started my computer again, and nothing was working. And then I realized I was feeling quite tight in my body, and that's like, oh, I realized, oh, I'm very much in my head right now at this moment. So the first thing would be like, I have the strong intention of noticing where I'm coming from. And just by the tightness in my body and the way I was feeling it, it wasn't coming from wisdom at all. So knowing that, I had the possibilities. Should I keep working on this? What do I want right now? And at that very moment, I wanted to go for a walk. So I did that. It could have been going for a walk. It could have been taking a nap. It could have been nothing and still, but being aware where I'm coming from. And I went for a walk. I went back home. I watched a funny YouTube video. And then I said, okay, I'm going to take a look again. And I started the program, and there I saw a button that was like, get access here for friendly, like the whole programming. It was always there, like right in front of me. But I was so busy in my mind trying to fix it, trying to solve it, that I wasn't paying attention. Because actually it's common sense. We all know that when we are stressed out, it's not the best moment to take any decisions. We don't see clearly. We know that. We know that. But for me now, it's more radical. It's like, it's not, okay, I do not take decisions when I'm like angry or extremely sad. It's like, I follow the feeling, not as following a nice, happy feeling like unicorns and rainbows. I follow the feeling, okay, how I'm feeling. I'm feeling like tight. I'm feeling stressed. Okay, not very good moment to keep going in that direction. In which direction do you want to go? I don't know. It could be something different. Just knowing what's happening. That's allow us a way to move differently. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Because just noticing, it brings you back to the now.
Exactly. Like as soon as you notice that you are not, let's say we are talking and I notice I'm distracted. As soon as I notice I'm distracted, I'm here.
Yes.
It's not like, oh, I'm distracted. I keep being distracted. Then I go, no, it's like, oh, I was distracted. Now I'm here. So just noticing, it's enough. So for me, it's like, I'm in my feeling, I notice and I let go. Not as an action, just as I notice, I don't know, let's say I'm noticing I'm feeling sad. In the past, I would analyze that, why I'm feeling sad, how can I overcome this? Like, how can I never find myself in this situation again? And then I will call a friend, what about this, what about that? And I'm feeling sad and blah, 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 blah. Not like I notice the way I'm feeling, I respect that, and then I do whatever comes to me in that very moment. It could be anything, but I won't be adding energy to that. I'm not repressing it. I'm noticing the feeling because the feeling is calling me like, hey, come home. For me, it was extremely important to understand that the feeling is like the flavor of my thinking. If I eat a lemon, the flavor would be acid, it would be like, that's the flavor. So I'm feeling sad. That's the flavor of whatever I'm thinking. I don't need to know what I was thinking. I have this alarm system that lets me know, hey, not from this place. So I feel sad in a higher intensity until I notice and I'm aware of it. And I can be connected with that feeling without adding a story. Because before I thought being connected with the feeling was like, yeah, I'm sad because of this, that, and that, and that, and then remember. No, just be with the feeling without a story. And every time I go through that process, I found that the feeling change, dissipates. And under that, there is something for me to see. There is an insight. There is a gift. So it's never wrong. It's not a mistake. Because I thought, there were like good emotions that you can feel and not very good emotions. So we were playing, okay, which team are you? And now I see the gift that is there in every feeling that arrives as a guest.
Yeah, because all feelings are good. We're the one who label them good or bad, but they just are.
Yeah. they just are. And when we start labeling them, it's harder to move from that place. I mean, when I label feelings, I'm moving from my mind, you know, I'm analyzing them and deciding what's good, what's bad, but that's a waste of time and energy. That's what I'm seeing. Sounds strong, but it's like I have already tested out in myself, and every time I label feelings, there is no good end on that. But when I embrace everything, then I see more, and there is always more to see. It's like painting, you know, if I say, okay, I love painting, but I only love pink, red, orange, and yellow. There's a certain things I can do, but I need all the colors, even gray, dark brown, I don't know, any other color, blue, like I need all the colors to experience life in full. But I know they are colors, you know, so I don't get scared of the drawings I make with those.
And we need the contrast.
Yes.
That's why we're incarnated. Now, if you want to be Zen all the time, we'll have stayed on the other side.
Exactly. No? Absolutely. Yeah, we need that, and not try to run off it. You know, I had a story. I usually pay my bills online, you know, and everything, and I have multiple users and passwords and things that they ask you to change all the time. So it's not an activity that I enjoy, you know, and I have like, I go in my head, oh, okay, today is that moment in the month, I have to do this, blah, 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 blah. And I realized I was waiting for me to enjoy that activity, because if I am embracing all, if I am enlightened enough, I should enjoy every activity, even that one. And then I saw like, that's not true. I'm a human being, and I can totally not like doing something that doesn't stop me from doing it. But I can just accept I get grumpy when I have to use all those passwords. That it's not a big deal, not at all. So I remember I took myself a picture of me with a grumpy face doing the paying online, and I sent it to a friend. And it was very funny, because now, I mean, after that, now, when I have to do that, I don't feel grumpy, because I remember the joke that we have, you know, and I like, but I was all this time trying to change that. And it's like a trap. Okay, so when I'm not angry doing my bills, then I will be a better human being, because now it seems like because I'm grumpy, I'm not being enough. Not true. Not true. So yeah, contrast is necessary, I think, and it's part of our human experience. That's it is. We have challenges, and every challenge shows us a different faceta, I want to say in Spanish, a different side of us. You know, they teach us more.
Yeah, and we need that.
We are here for that.
We're here for that. Exactly. And not to take life so seriously as well, which sometimes we forget, but yeah.
And that's key, because usually when we get tight, it's because we are taking everything too seriously. At least in me, I realized that as soon as I take things seriously, I start being in my head.
The warnings in the...
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Azul. And if people want to find you, where can they find you?
I don't have a website still, but I have my email that I will give it to you so you can add it in the comments, because it's azulleguizamon.guia, so it's not easy to spell it in English, I think. Okay. But it will be in the comments.
Yeah, send it to me and I will put it here as well. Okay, well, thank you for your wisdom and for your time as well.
Thank you very, very much. This has been a pleasure, and I love what you're doing. It's a very beautiful and enlightened space that you're offering to all of us. Thank you.
Muchas gracias.